following program has been rated GE. It is therefore suitable for general viewing.
Ngambo nikienda huwa wanapewa treatment ya VIP.
A father plays an important role in a child's life. He molds, he teaches, and the child apes him as he takes note. The same applied to Juma Abdalla Kent, a basketball trainer who has worked both local and foreign schools in Kenya.
It's all in your mind. Again.
Juma Abdalla Kent finds inspiration in the perseverance and tenacity of his father.
My father is called Abdalla Kent. He used to be a former boxer. He played for the Kenya national team and Kenya Breweries.
Juma Abdalla Kent is a twin to his sister and was born into a household of 6.
I'm the firstborn. We are twins with my sister, who is based in Uganda. My late mother, who passed away last year, is called Amina Kent. They were the first women's service corps to join army in 1970. There were 6.
Due to his father's job and his mother's army service, his family frequently traveled.
I was born at Pumwani Hospital in Nairobi. Then I went nursery in Breweries. Then my first primary, class 1, I went to Garden Estate Primary. Then I went to class 2 in Moi Avenue up to class 3. Then I went to Kitito Primary for 1 year because my father had gone for semi-professional boxing in Germany in 1983. When my mom went for about 4 months, we had to go to boarding because we had nobody to stay with us.
In 1987, he completed his elementary school at Kileleshwa Primary, and he then enrolled in Machakos High School, where he began playing basketball. In 1991, he completed his O-levels at Bungoma's Chesamis School. He first interacted with basketball in 1982 as a child in the breweries where his parents resided.
The friends that I grew up with in breweries was Richard Madegwa, who the father used to play football, was Victor Okwemba, the father used to play football, and also Victor, now he's in Kisumu, and some of the guys I grew up with, I don't know where they've gone to.
However, it was not until 1989 that he played it at Machakos High School. Growing up, basketball was not a well-known sport in Kenya, and most of the crowds played football. Well, if you cannot beat them, then join them.
So I tried boxing, but I couldn't manage. And because Brothers had started a junior program, because they had a football team, a very good football team. It was called KBL team, and now it's Tusker. So most of the friends used to play football. But I ventured into basketball as others like Eli Madegwa went to tennis, because we all could not fit in the football team. And some of them, their fathers, they used to play football like Eli Adero, the Sons. There was Madegwa, there was Okwemba. So that's why when I saw basketball was introduced by Mr. Mulwa, who used to work in Kenya Breweries in 1981, I started to venture into that game because I saw it was interesting. You just run, pass the ball, shoot it in a high hoop. So I was attracted and I started playing it, but I didn't take keen interest till when I finished my primary level.
He joined his friends Richard Madengwa and Victor Okembwa through the famous KBLT team now known as Tusker FC, who hold the Kenya Champions League.
Put your whole weight on her. It's about trust.
But this was not before his father tried to poach him into boxing.
Tried boxing, my father tried to introduce boxing, but boxing was so hard because boxing is a talent. I did train with him because that time he was in the hit squad when boxing was to be one of the best sports.
This was at a time when boxing brought in more medals than any other sport in Kenya. Despite being trained by one of the best boxers in the country, it was a hit and miss for Juma Abdalla Kent.
Although boxing I tried, my father trained me for self-defense and how to know to play it, but it was so difficult. That boxing was so difficult.
He was taught defense, which he used to defend himself from the 3 torturous minutes in the ring.
The 3 minutes in the ring is like 2 years. Especially if you find an opponent that was so hard beating you, it was so hard. And my father, since he was a heavyweight, he used to train me. I used to lose concentration, and boxing needs concentration. And he used to train and have gas. So I couldn't, but I trained just to have the knowledge. And although my father really wanted me to be a boxer and inherit what he did, but unfortunately I did not take that. I went and took basketball.
Despite his father's persistence, Juma would not wrap his head around boxing.
Since that time, in 1980, when Kenya skipped Olympics, when they were in Moscow, then US came and played some games in Kenya, and the late Muhammad Ali came and sparred with my father here at KICC.
Kuanza kucheza nikaanza kumpiga tumbo. Sasa nilipokumpiga tumbo raundi ya kwanza, raundi ya pili, nikaambiwa na madoka, can't piga everywhere, piga hata uso. Nikaenda nikampiga tumbo, nikampiga shavu. Shavu nilipompiga hata mimi mwenyewe nilifeel that blow. Akaanguka. Sasa alipoamka, alipompiga shingo mpaka uso ilifura. Alinipiga shingo pande kushoto, uso wa kulia nilifura. Alafu baadaye nikamclinch, nikamuuliza, "Hey, Muhammad, you are hurting me." Akasema, "Guard yourself, guard up."
It was a big honor because I went there with my mom, and he was the only one who could spar with him. So that day it was a big honor, and I appreciate, and that's where it ventured me more in sports, because I saw it came from my parents, both my mother and my father.
His father's prominent career and dedication pushed him into sports.
Everybody used to play football, and I knew I could not make it because there were players that were very good. They come from football families, big names. So I couldn't make it. That's why I ventured and joined basketball.
He shifted his attention to basketball based on the rhythm of the game.
Turn it. Put the ball down, turn.
The dribbling, the hoop throws, and the pattern of the game. Basketball is an art. The game runs on energy and vibrations, which determine the flow of the game. Juma started to play the game as a scapegoat for his parents' knowledge of his absenteeism from school.
There was a time I hurt my hand. I stayed almost a whole term. I had a cast. I could not go to class. It was so painful. And I didn't want my parents to know that I was not in school or attending classes. That's why I thought of a game that I can play that does not require me to use the leg, because the hand was hurt and the leg was paining. Then is when I ventured into basketball.
He could not risk his parents knowing that he had missed school due to the injuries he had sustained. Thus, basketball offered him a chance to continue with the facade of school attendance. With the help of Mr. Haman Masafu, Juma started his basketball career and grew his liking for the game. In high school, he played against major schools such as Friends School Kamsinga, Kibabi, and St. Peter's Mumias.
We really tried to inspire, and we used to train where we didn't have tarmac as the floor. It was dust. So every time you play, you have to go take shower. So I remember in high school, we used to just go wear our socks and we just sleep. So those are the good memories that we had. And we had very few teachers that understood the game to teach us or be with us, because basketball was not known that much. It was only for bigger schools that was that much.
He played with several teammates who understood the flow of the game.
In school, we had teams like Babi boys who are very good, Friends School Kamsinga, that's from Bugoma County, and then we had St. Paul Samukura from Busia, we had St. Peter's Mumias, we had Kakamega boys, we had Chavakali boys.
In 1990, his team beat Friends School Kamsinga at the semi-national level. Owing to the slippery ground, they lost to St. Paul's Kamukura.
The surface was so slippery because they had put some sawdust. So anytime you get the ball, you used to slide, and the referees were calling travel. So we lost 1 point to St. Paul's Kamukura. But that was one of the best times, because Kamsinga was a very good team in basketball, and they used to get good basketballers, and they used to be a good powerhouse. Then till now, they're still a powerhouse in Western Province.
After school, he trained in Shauri Moyo with Peter Otieno and others such as Apache.
When I left high school, I came to Nairobi. I first trained at Shauri Moyo. There was this Peter Otieno who used to play for Posta. He's one of the best players. I went training in Shauri Moyo. The training was so hard because I trained with players like Apache, who used to be in Kibabi but played for Post Bank. And then it was a bit hard, the training, and the people were big and they were fast, because you know Nairobi was a powerhouse in sports, in basketball.
He later played for Vikings, a self-sponsored club, and later for Barclays.
I remember the games that we played was, remember we went for a tournament in Kakamega. It was the Madaraka Day tournament. It was held in 1st of June. And the finals were between Barclays and Cooperative. That game did not finish because of the rain. So it was brought to be played in Nairobi, Nyayo. So Cooperative was a very good team. They had very good players like Benny Raya, Mike Opel, there was Solomon Onamo, Dennis Orina, Wakabra Mudogo, Morris Alwanga, who was the former chairman of KBF, John West Kinywa, there was Robert Nyasimi, there was a Chris Njuke, who's in the US, and the late Martin Thiongo, who died during the accident in '99. So they were short players and very few, but they were very fast and very active. Barclays, you could not beat them in running time.
Unfortunately, in 1999, the Barclays team had an accident at Voi where some of its members died.
Then I joined Barclays that time before the accident, and the bank pulled out. Then I also a bit played with Corp, partially. Then now I joined into officiating.
The accident shifted a lot in Juma's life, and he changed his career trajectory towards being a referee and a coach. He juggled between the two before he focused on being a coach. His first coaching team was the St. George's Girls in 1992. He draws his inspiration from Tom Munyama, the former Attorney General, Philip Osore, and Naftali Mwaniki.
One of my best referee and somebody in basketball was Justice Akwesa, because he was a referee and was a player. Me, I just stuck in reffing so much, but him, he was a player. He used to play for Kenya Railways, and then he used to be a referee. And Philip Osore, who also really inspired me and taught me and took me, and Naftali Mwaniki, who is in the US but now is back in Kenya, based in Kenya. So those are the people. And Colonel Kimani, who was in the army. We had Henry Shiemi, we had Joseph Amoko, we had John Chasimba, and we had Justice Akwesa.
He focused on his referee debut, where he watched over the game between Aquinas and St. Austin's in 1995, which cemented his position in the sports field.
Because of the hand that was really hurting me, because I had a metal in the hand, I could not play Ma. So I joined into refereeing. I started officiating. Then by good grace of God, I became international referee in 1998. I got my international license, FIBA status. I started reffing.
In 1998, Juma got his license at 19 years old from Johannesburg, South Africa.
I started to coach and referee. So I was juggling and see which one will be fast. Because at times you go, I was coaching, you go play a tournament, there are no referees. So I end up reffing when my team is not playing. When my team is playing, then you get some teachers to ref, which was hard. Some of them didn't know the rules. So I used to make noise and say, then I said, instead of making noise, why don't I become a referee? I help, because there is where basketball talent is at high school.
Festive, quality, healthy, and tasty bread.
Pearl and Beauty deodorant with natural pearl extracts and avocado oils for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care with delicate fragrances. Feel the power of pearls. Nivea Pearl and Beauty for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
With Cooperative Bank pre-owned car finance, anyone with an income can walk into a second-hand dealership and choose a car that best suits them within an 8-year age limit, and also get to enjoy 100% financing. It's simple. With Cooperative Bank, don't dream it, drive it. and we will help you buy it. Talk to us today on 0703 027 000. Cooperative Bank. We are you. Still paying rent? Or looking for an investment opportunity in real estate? Own a home at the heart of Two Rivers with a deposit of 495,000 Kenya shillings and the balance spread over 24 months. We offer unlimited access to Two Rivers amenities, exclusive and secure paths and walkways, plenty of kids play areas, a theme park and 24-hour security. Owning a home is seamless. Contact our professional sales associates on +254 702 262626 or email sales@tworivers.co.ke.
Got my license in 98. I was still young, I was still 19 years.
With this, he explored his referee skills up to the Africa Cup of Nations.
I thank God I reffed up to continental level. I've reffed Africa Cup of Nations 4 times, senior. I've reffed junior, both ladies and men. I've reffed club championship. I've reffed in Europe in the Michael Jordan Air tournament. I reffed the the World Deaf Championships in China. I reffed the Under-20 Championship World in Sweden and Spain. I reffed the World School Games in US in 2010.
Put your whole weight on her.
He refereed many basketball events such as the Michael Jordan Air Tournament, the World Deaf Championship in China, and Under-20 Championship in Sweden and Spain.
What also made me come back to coaching is coaching was more demanding, because in reffing I'd reffed to the highest limit. The only thing I'd not reffed was in Olympics, but World Championship I did in Deaf, in World School Games.
He went back to coaching due to its high demand and field stunts.
It has happened, at times you make bad calls, especially when I was young. There were big players, big teams like Posta, Stan Chat. You do a mistake. I remember one time it was a game between Posta and KP, and they were rival because both teams were from Kekoso. So I called something that was funny that was not there because I was coughing, but unfortunately the whistle went out. So the guy asked me, "Hey, what is it you've called now?" I'm like, "Sorry, I didn't know, I was just coughed." So the guy was annoyed, took my whistle and threw it out. He was called Ben Wanjara and he was so big. So one of the players called James Nyasimi, he just went, took the whistle, told me, "No, just keep reffing, you're doing a good job. People start from somewhere." So he really motivated me. I'm like, and another one called Ronald Swaka is now based in the US.
Juma recognizes the pressure of being a referee amongst an unpredictable crowd and players.
Fans will abuse you, players will call you names, the coach. You just want the game to finish so that you go and leave the court. That pressure is there and is so big.
He was always a whistle away from being thrown off the court. Being a referee has its challenges. In 2003, the Afro basketball game against Egypt and Angola.
The Afro basketball, now to qualify for the Olympics of 2004 in Greece, it was the semi-final between Egypt and Angola. Angola were the defending champs. Egypt were the host, and their president was there. Had come to watch the game. It was in Alexandria. Another one was between Angola and Mozambique. Their rival, they both speak Portuguese, and Mozambique have always been beating Angola. In your pocket, and then do your good job. Whoever win, let him win because by merit, not because you help them. So they do happen in officiating. They're playing team like Sonny's in Kisumu. You can't make Gore rules that game. Your safety comes first, or your FC and Gore. Those are rival teams, and the FC have lost so many games. They want to win that game. You do a blunder, you even get the escort and security to leave the field to your changing room. They even come and attack your family at home because they know you. In basketball, it's a small circle. They know you. So those are the challenges that referees get. But we thank God we've come through and come of age, because the older you grow, the better you become mature. That's why you find most games they use older referees to officiate because of experience and maturity.
During his first coaching job at St. George's, the team would often lose to Buruburu and Kamukunji.
I remember Buruburu when they started, they didn't have a court. They used to come and train at St. George's. I go pick them in Buruburu girls. They come to train at St. George's. Kamukunji never had a court. They trained at Kamukunji in a half court. They were the national champs. They produced very good players like Caroline Majeng, Eunice Ouma, Judy Obiero, Caroline Okdekola Hamasa.
He set his eyes on the target and made a personal goal to beat the rivals.
So I said, I just want to beat Kamukunji and Buruburu. Once I beat that, I know I'll have achieved a target. Because they used to come, they beat us like 40 points, 50. So they tell us, you will beat us in academics, but come these sports, you'll not beat us. So I used to feel so bad. I'm like, how are they beating you guys? So I worked hard.
He put in the effort and it bore fruit for his team.
Coaching was demanding and interesting. Then I joined, I started coaching. Because with coaching, you learn every day, not like officiating. There's the rule, you know it, unless it's a new rule or a rule change. But coaching, every player, every team is different. Because they look at you like a leader, like a father, like a big brother, like a problem solver. So coaching was so demanding. Till today, I've stuck to it. Because when you help a player, make him a better human being, it impacts the life of that player and they appreciate.
He coached more teams, such as Barclays Eaglets, who were known as the Stormers.
The schools that I've coached is St. George's, I've coached State House Girls, I've coached Kenya High, I've coached Kerogoya, I've coached Alliance Girls, I've coached Olereto Limuru, Butere Girls, I've coached Bahati, I've coached a bit of Shimba Hills. Those are the schools I've coached. Then in club, I started with Barclays Eaglets. Then after the accident, one of my teammates was called Victor Odhiambo, was coaching and also was playing for the men. But it used to tire him so much because after coaching he's so drained by the time he's playing. So I started to coach now the ladies for him to concentrate to play in the men. And then I was joined by Oscar Ayomi, who was an assistant. We used to work because we were both referees, but we had passion of coaching. So we started coaching. Then after some time, we were going for a player tournament or a league. We didn't have uniform. So I was introduced to a lady called Daniela Adetunje. She used to work at Coca-Cola. So she joined the team, she supported the team, she bought uniforms. Then we changed the name from the Eaglets because the bank refused to use the name Eaglets because it was their symbol. So the team was changed to Storms and the men, they were called Stormers. But the men fed away, but the lady still today is there.
The team produced players such as Angela Luchivia.
Players like Angela Luchivia, who is one of the patron and she's the Assistant Secretary General of Kenya Basketball Federation. There was Sylvia Kamau, the head coach for the Equity Bank and former sports director for Strathmore. There was players like Faustina Mandu, now based in the US. So that's where we coach. And we started with the young girls. We lost games. The games that I remember we used to play was KPA. Anytime we play KPA was so good. Players will tell you, coach, let's go and play, and we make sure they don't score us 100.